What up? It's what Incredible Man, and yes, I'm back at it again. And I wasn't gonna post this episode because the previous episode that I posted, too many people weren't talking about it. But someone commented and said they wanted me to give my review and discussion of this episode. So I was like, of course I'll do it, man. I was still watching the anime itself, but this is Fire Force episode 8, and I just gotta say, man. I know it's late. I know it's super late, but stuff like this is what draws people attention, man. Because this was absolutely fantastic, and I loved every single moment of it. And I'm just gonna be real. Reika is trash, man. This dude is like complete garbage. Oh man. Yeah, okay, let's talk about the episode because if not, I'm going to ramble the whole episode. So it picks up right after last week's episode, man, and we see Shinra and Arthur still at Company One, and just going through like a temporary type training type thing. Also, while trying to uncover everything that's going on with someone turning people into infernals. And what I loved was before we got started with this episode, we got another brief flashback of Captain Hibana, the lieutenant, and Captain Obi talking about this little insect that turns people. So then it made a major play later in the episode, which was fantastic. We knew that there was someone turning people, but we didn't know how they were turning people. And I love how they showed us that at the beginning of the episode and what the bug looked like and everything. So that was very, very nice. So then we see the lieutenant coming to check on Arthur and Shinra, and he was like, "Are you guys okay?" And he was, well, yeah, but you don't have to keep coming here every day. So it was nice. I love the camaraderie of Company 8. I mean, they really care for each other, even though they just recently met Shinra and Arthur from the academy. They really care about these two guys that joined their company, and I love that. And that's everyone. So it's a blast seeing their camaraderie, man. And then we have the nuns from Company One. It's like, oh, the lieutenant came back to check on his members again. That is so sweet. And then they show Shinra was like, shoo, shoo, shoo. So I love that. And then we get a brief thing with Captain Hibana and the lieutenant, and she was like, I love how they're acting so calm and collected, like they don't have anything to hide. And like, when we know that she done a lot of research to discover that someone has been turning people into infernals from the first company. So like there was like everybody's just going through the motions. Nobody's suspicious of us being here, or they didn't try to hide anything with us being here. So I was like, well, maybe they don't have anything to hide. That's what I was hoping watching the beginning part of the episode. And then after we get there, man, so then we get to they're having breakfast, and and then everyone is going around the table telling like why they wanted to become Fire Force firefighter, because Juggernaut was wondering why did everyone want to become one. And he didn't really have a lofty goal like the rest of them, but he was just curious as to why they wanted to become Fire Force firefighters. And I thought that was a nice transition. But then we get Tamaki coming, and I can't get past the fact that her lucky lechery thing, it was funny the first time when we saw her and she met Shinra and that happened, but now it's so played out, it's not even funny anymore. I don't need this anymore. It was funny the first couple times, but now it's just annoying and boring at this point. It's not even entertaining anymore. It's super boring. So please cut that. I mean, it's not fun at all anymore. But then they get called on a there's an inferno that appeared, and like I love how Company One, like their company was deep, man. Like they sent out like maybe like 8 trucks to go combat this fire force. These infernals, because I think it was maybe like 4, but then there was also a bunch of people within the building. But then we have what's his name, Karum, tell Arthur and Shinra, stay here because you guys don't really know how we operate, so you could end up messing up the flow that we already have built with our members and kind of throw everything all out of whack while we're trying to save these people. So stay here. But then we see, and this is new because they didn't show, I don't remember seeing this in any of the other episodes. Shinra kind of got like a little tingling in his leg that showcased maybe like a possible infernal or like some kind of something that deals with fire. Anything that deals with fire, his leg, it kind of shimmered or shook a little bit, like kind of gave off a tingling. That's new. I don't remember seeing that in any of the prior episodes. But it was nice because at that moment he saw someone coming out of an alley and someone sticking a glass jar to their back, and then that person turned into an infernal. And Arthur was like, "What are you doing? We're supposed to stay here." And he was like, what we're supposed to be investigating just happened. Someone turned someone to an infernal." And so they both ran down the alley, and and Shinra was like on it, man. His feet was just booming. And then we get down the alleyway and we see Karum and REKKA. Now, I'm gonna be real. At that moment, I didn't know who could have done it. But then after all that said and done, we see Arthur come down the alleyway because he was late because he had to run. And he was like, "Well, one of you guys turned the people into Inferno," and Shinra like kind of just nudged him and kind of put him in the headlock to kind of keep him from telling everything because we don't want to be found out just yet. So then we get back to the first company cathedral, and we have Arthur and Shinra discussing about what happened on the while they're trying to save the people. And Arthur was like, "Well, this is exactly what we've been waiting for. Let's go investigate. Let's get everything together." So they decided to go investigate, and it was so funny. Arthur's super composed about being a knight, and the next thing you know, you see him dressed up like with his hood on and the mask on. "I'm an assassin. I'm an assassin." So, and Shinra was like, "Well, aren't you supposed to be a knight?" And he takes off the mask and said, "I'm a knight." I love Arthur, man. Arthur's a fun character all the way around, man. Then we get to them going to Karum's room because that's who Shinra accused of being the sabotager. Or the saboteur. I can't talk. Now what was weird is that from that moment when they got to his room, like, dude, at that moment, I didn't even suspect Karum at all. I knew I thought somebody was setting him up, but he had that set up to set up Shinra and Arthur because he knew exactly what they were there for, and he just wanted to find out what they knew. So that was a nice kind of double play type thing. But I didn't believe it was him to begin with. Dude seems too honest and legit to do something this backhanded or conniving. But let's talk about the fact that Arthur had made all of these miniature Excaliburs and was just slicing doors and locks and everything. That was fantastic. So then we have Karum telling them everything he knows, and they telling him why they're there and everything. So we kind of get everything's kind of out on the open. And then we see Karum hold a picture and kind of reminisce about why REKKA turned out this way, because they had a picture like when they were younger, maybe not too younger, but younger, and they seemed like they were good friends and buddies. But then, dude, we get to the heart of this episode, man. Before that, we get to the hallway scene, and we have Arthur and Shinra was like, "Well, we're coming with you. We're members of your squad." And he was like, "Well, you guys aren't, He was like, "Well, we're not members of your squad, and we're investigating this." So he was like, "So you guys are just coming anyway." So I love that fact, and I love the whole banter back and forth. Karum seems like a great character, and I can't wait to find out more about him and his powers. But then we get to the heart of this episode, man. They go to try to find REKKA, but then we get that whole scene where Tamaki is taking kids off the streets, and I was like, dude, is she in on it? I thought she was in on it for a moment. Like, for a moment, I thought she was like in on it, but then it comes that REKKA was just using her because she's so dumb. And then we get to the scene to where this dude, where it broke my heart, man. He turned this child's mom into an inferno right in front of her. He choked out Tamaki. He kicked Tamaki. He beat Tamaki. He was just, dude, it's like legit evil. Like, I see that there's a purpose behind what he's doing, because he was like, you guys are the pilot light. So there's a reason he's doing everything that he's doing, but the way that he's going about, he's turning people into infernos. which is so hardcore, man. And then he's just mollywopped Tamaki this whole episode. Her face is swole, beat up and bruised and battered. But then we get to the one of the most, I want to say wonderful, but at the same time it was gut-wrenching, when he turned the little kid that was like, I'm so scared of being turned to an Inferno, I don't want to do it because one of my classmates turned into an Inferno. And he turns his kid into an Inferno, man. But he doesn't turn into an Inferno. He makes it through the process and he doesn't turn into an Inferno, but his eyes light up and glow. So now what I'm wondering is that's what Rekka was hoping for, but what is the purpose behind that? That's what I want to know. See, the story's getting good now. Like this is the main story and everything we've seen so far. But like with this episode, this is where it's at now. We're getting deeper and deeper, and we're getting a lot of stuff that I didn't expect for us to get, and I'm super excited about it, man. Oh, then like I said, true to form, Shinra's legs started doing the little shimmer thing again. Then Tamaki saw some of her flames, and he saw it and heard her cry. But then he came in like my boy Sanji with that black leg and just demolished Rekka, man. That whole scene, that whole shot from like the moment he came in through the room and ended Rekka was fantastic. That was such a beautiful scene, and that is why I love Fire Force, man. The action always brings such enjoyment when they have scenes and stuff like that. So, but now I have more questions than I have answers because this episode set up a whole bunch of other stuff that I need answered now. But this is my discussion / review, man. That's pretty much all that happened in this episode. This is your boy Dick Incredible. Don't forget to smash that like button till you can't smash it anymore. Comment down below and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them, and subscribe, but only if you really want to, man. And remember that anime matters, anime is greatness, and anime is life. And Fire Force episode 8, man, this was bomb. Peace out, man. I can't